And welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Megui, and now we want to take a very interesting conversation that is revolving around redundancy. Now, Kenya, like other nations, is experiencing the effects of high cost of living, high energy costs, and businesses, on the other hand, are trying to stay afloat within this scenario, and this will form the basis of our conversations. And we are talking about overcoming redundancy amidst the high cost of living. And to join me, to help me in this conversation in studio, I'm joined by one Arnold Ochieng, who is the General Manager of Workforce Africa. Karibu sana to the studio.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Maybe to start off, is the cost of living a good enough reason to consider effecting redundancies in any business or organization?
So thank you once again for this opportunity. Yes. Definitely the cost of living directly affects the running of business of any entity. Yes. Because you'll find that when a high cost of living arises, then there's increased cost of running a business, and in turn, there's a reduced spending power for each and every person or organization. Yes. Now,
when you talk about redundancies, what major factors may lead to businesses or organizations consider effecting redundancies in various departments that constitute their businesses?
So what might lead organization to consider redundancy, first of all, like I mentioned, is the increased cost of doing business. First of all, a business has to establish exactly what the main objective as an organization is. Yes. If they're able to identify those kind of bits, then now they have to make a decision exactly. There are certain roles and there are certain positions that directly affect the running of a business. So with that, they're able to make that decision, ensuring that if I have to ensure that my business is being profitable enough, certain roles being directly affecting my revenue income, or others are not affecting the income. So definitely those are the areas or aspects that organizations bring into consideration when coming up with such decisions.
Yes. Yes. Now, to anyone who is watching us, one may wonder, when it comes to redundancy, is it the person who is declared redundant, or it's the position they have that becomes redundant?
So first of all, you need to understand exactly what redundancy is. Yes. So for you to understand, redundancy is when an employer is unable to offer an employee a job or a position. So, and in any given organization, when an organization is being set up as a whole department, the jobs are the first thing that are factored before I even bring in any talent or I bring in any person to execute that job. So first of all, I have to identify, I have to give consideration to is this role affecting the running of my business? So definitely, if an organization decides that this position is no longer relevant, is no longer in line with the objectives of the organization, then definitely the role has to be declared redundant and not the employee. It's basically the role.
All right, let's talk about assessing finances. Now that for a person who has been declared, whose position has been declared redundant, what are the steps that they can take as they assess their financial situation, especially when they have been declared, when their position has become redundant?
So for such kind of a situation, first of all, organization, before you even communicate the same to the affected person, the organization has to put steps in place to ensure that there's proper procedures that lead up to the point where so-and-so is being declared redundant. So basically, as per the labor laws, it's required that you're able to inform this person within 30 days of you executing the same redundancy order. So definitely, for organizations that have proper structures and proper setup, they take employees through a necessary step to ensure that they're well catered for, they're well supported in such a way that they understand the reason why this redundancy, this action is being actually taken place for that specific role. Then now forward, you have to understand that from now, 30 days from now, where will I be in a financial position? Definitely there'll be a package that I'll receive from my employer, which includes my either accrued leave days, the 30 days notice period, and other benefits and factors, also the severance pay. But given that, I have to now ensure that whatever finances I have as I prepare for my next job or opportunity, I have to ensure that put my finances in order, get what I need to be, what I need to do to get done during that period, to ensure that I don't lose any, don't get behind in any terms of financial obligations, or I don't lose any amount of finance during that time. Yeah.
All right. Now, when we talk about the high cost of living, it's affecting everyone, not only businesses, it's affecting everyone. Now, what is the importance, or how crucial is it to prioritize expenses and identify areas that maybe need temporary cutbacks in light of the already now happened redundancy declaration and the high cost of living?
So maybe to iterate on that, there's something we studied back then called the hierarchy laws of needs. So definitely that the three basic needs that for every person needs to survive, that's the food, shelter, and clothing. So definitely, as you're going to this period for where probably you don't have any form of income coming in, then definitely your focus should maybe now be on your basic needs. Like, are you able to provide for yourself or for your family the food, basic needs? So that should be a guiding factor in exactly what you need to be prioritizing on your expenditure. There are certain expenditure that, yes, might be necessary, but are they really important at this kind of stage? So as long as the three basic needs are able to be catered for, then that's where your priority should be in terms of your expenses and in terms of your budgeting. Yeah.
Now, you've talked about budgeting. Now, talk about how, if you are declared redundant, how then do you stick to a strict budget to manage yourself between this? Because when you have been created redundant, it means you have lost your job.
True.
So how can one remain strictly within the confines of the budget that they have during this period and before they get or they move to the next job?
For you to be able to stay within your budget, first of all, you need to understand exactly where do you stand in a financial position. You need to also assess, like I mentioned, what are your current needs. Then now that informs your decision in terms of your budgeting. And then now, based on whatever savings probably you had, during your time of employment, plus also the last package that you are offered, then now you're able to spread it across, probably to make it safe, are giving 6 to 12 months in a way that you don't exceed 30% of what you currently have in your reserves at the moment, so that it limits you to a situation where you're still able to survive, you're still able to get things done, as you're still looking for opportunities, and also still empowering and upskilling yourself as you prepare for the next kind of opportunity you're expecting.
Yes. Now, when in employment, people are encouraged to make networks, establish networking to enhance chances of maybe moving up the ladder or getting a new job. How essential is networking in the industry as you are seeking a new job, especially after your position has become redundant?
Networking is very key in each and every kind of setup that we live in. And as a professional, where you're working, definitely you are interacting with various key stakeholders in your various industries. For example, if you are an operations kind of person, sort of operations lead, you are interacting with the various other sister companies or other stakeholders. So the networking bit around that helps you in a way that even when you're not in a position you're not having the position that you currently hold, these networks are able to give you referrals, because there's actually power in referral. You'll find most organizations, they trust, are focused on recruiting based on referrals. You'll find I will probably pick somebody from an organization that I've worked with before, or a recommendation from a fellow head of a company that have worked with them before. So definitely networking goes a long way in pushing you to the next level and upskilling in terms of your role.
Yes.
Yeah.
A skill development, it plays a very big role whether you are employed or you are not employed. It's essential talk about how it enhances a person's marketability and chances of securing a new job after getting after redundancy.
So definitely one thing about being in employment or being a professional is that every day is an opportunity for you to learn. Yeah, so there's no limit to education, there's no limit to learning. Mm-hmm. So one thing I normally encourage or I push to my team is that I ask them at the end of the day, what have you learned as a person? How have you upskilled yourself? You're living in an era where all skills are available on a free. We have YouTube access. We have internet and other aspects of training where you'll find people are able to upskill on certain skills that are free on those kind of platforms. Mm-hmm. So definitely, even as you're working or when you're not in employment, you're able now to, how do you push yourself to the next limit? There's always a skill that is learned every day, because we're living in an era where most jobs are a threat of probably the AI technology that we are currently seeing recently. So you need to make yourself marketable. You need to make yourself upskilled in such a way that when in any turn of event, you're still sellable as a person and you're still sellable as a professional in your own position. Now,
is it, when it comes to skill development, is it about one's passion or what makes the cut in the market? Because there's a level to which a person may want to pursue, for instance, accounting, but the market, on the other hand, is requiring something else. Is it about passion or just conforming to what the available opportunities?
That's a very interesting kind of view. Yes. I'd say both. That's on my own opinion, because first of all, if you mention accounting, somebody who is in accounting has ability now to foresee what does the market demand for me in the next 5 or 6 years. How is the market evolving around accounting and the accounting and finance space? That can be able to inform a decision on upskilling yourself. And then when it comes to passion, you can be an accountant, but you have a passion for something different, which is still okay, because at the end of the day, we're looking for ways to earn a living, because it's at times passion might not bring food on your table, but what pays you is actually what you're professional. And so even as you're working on your passion, definitely you can still skill yourself on that area, because who knows, one time if you decide to fully venture into it, probably it might pay off. But whatever you're currently working on as a professional, that is what you should be focused on, primarily ensuring that you upskill yourself on a day-to-day basis.
Now, when it comes to when you have been declared redundant,
yes,
it's your employment that has ended.
Sure.
But then again, that does not mean that is the end of the road.
Yeah.
There is also a chance for new opportunities.
True.
How can individuals leverage remote work, especially now that we are living in an age where people are working from home? How can people leverage on this aspect to broaden their chances after they have been declared redundant?
So leveraging on remote work is basically just trying to also get opportunities that are working elsewhere. Like if you are a specialty, you have a specialty in a given kind of field. Right now we have a lot of platforms that offer remote work opportunities. So you'll find one platform that are focused on either IT, other platforms are focused on finance, other aspects are focused on other aspects of different areas. So when you're able to package yourself as a professional, first of all, when you are at the stage of exiting or transitioning, you need to ensure that you package yourself in a way that even if you're putting yourself out there for the next job, your profile enough is convincing that you have the necessary skill to support given kind of roles. You have the necessary skill to also drive certain kind of avenue. So the key thing is packaging yourself, because you might be going on this, trying to get these remote jobs, but you have not packaged yourself in the right way. So first of all, you need to get somebody who is able to assist you in packaging your profile in the correct way. Then now you're able to market yourself on these platforms that offer this remote work and also these kind of project kind of executions.
Yes. Yeah. There is also the aspect of the emotional impact redundancy can have on a person who has lost their job.
True.
What sort of support are they supposed to receive? Because we are all human. It will affect you in some to some extent, because this is something you have been relying on primarily for your livelihood.
True.
So how can a person who has been declared redundant be helped when it comes to the emotional aspect and the impact of redundancy on their life?
So the impact of redundancy definitely will affect the emotional kind of bit. So our approach as professionals in this space is that, first of all, like I mentioned earlier, in terms of how do we ensure that this process is done in a humane way and it is done in a professional way.
Yes.
So our focus is definitely on communication, education, and self-realization.
Yes.
So the self-realization bit is now where the mental bit comes in. So when now you are transitioning, we normally encourage employers to do it in a way that, first of all, you get to talk to this person on a one-to-one basis, rather than doing just letters and mails. First of all, have a discussion with them, understand them, explain to them, this is what is happening to the organization, this is what we are looking for, and going forward, this is how we have restructured the session. So for you, we are able to also give you mental support now, getting you proper people who are able to give you psychological help, like mental awareness training, so they're able now to talk to you, understand to you that this is not the end of the world. Definitely, because jobs are basically about financial security. So when someone loses that opportunity to get an income, then it definitely affects their mental aspect. So you need to prepare them in a way that tell them that this is not the end of the world. Everything has to be put properly in order, first of all, and also prepare them financially, like how our finances are ready, how your finances are. You need to, going forward, how now you should be more wary of what you spend on, plus also now how do you ensure that you package yourself and prepare yourself for the next opportunity that is coming.
Well, even before we come to the point that you have been declared redundant, I would want to hear your views on the importance of setting up an emergency fund to cater for any eventuality, whether you have lost your job through redundancy or retrenchment.
So preparing yourself stems also from how the organization prepare yourself. A good organization is a good organization that is able to engage their staff in a holistic way. Yes. First of all, you don't need to have redundancies to start having sessions with your staff. How do you engage your staff? First of all, you need to help them set up, first of all, when they engage your session, give them financial wellness training. I think part of our successful culture is have these constant sessions with your team, whether or not the redundancies are happening. Give them access to this kind of training so that they're able to understand exactly, in any eventuality, I am sorted out as a person, that I can be able to also survive for 3 or 4 months. Because we need to believe that at times, not only redundancy can happen, something else might happen, and you also need to still have your finances in order. So the holistic way is organizations need to have set up proper engagement sessions with their team, give them this frequently training, have them include financial wellness in part of their L&D during the course of the employment. This encourages the staff members to also have the responsibility and have the accountability to ensure that also they're doing their part in terms of financial responsibility.
Yes. Now, to a person who may be declared redundant, or let's talk about a company that plans on effecting redundancy. Talk about the importance of transparent communication, because this, as we have said, is going to take a toll on the person that will be affected by redundancy. What is the importance of transparent communication, especially on the part from the part of the employer with regards to redundancy?
Communication is key in the whole process of redundancy, like I mentioned earlier. Then also you have first also to understand, also, redundancy is about the role, it's not about the person. So when you're able to have a session with a specific individual who is executing, who is supporting the organization in that role, and outline to them that currently the role that supports probably execution or supports operations in the next 2 or 3 months, we're not looking at sustaining the role. It's no longer a role that will be relevant to the organization in the coming months. So the employee needs to understand exactly why it's being done. So for them understanding that bit, then it gives them a clearer picture of exactly what's going on in that specific role.
Now, when it comes to redundancies, businesses, of course, they will do it depending on the prevailing economic situation and cost of living. What steps should they take to ensure or to plan for these redundancies? Because without compromising on the essential operations of the business itself.
So the steps that the business needs to take to plan for this, first of all, is communication. Communication is going to affect everything that is going on. First of all, communication to the relevant authorities. That has to be done as per the labor law that requires. So once the communication is done, there has to be proper reorganization with the staff. It has to be laid down clearly, exactly. The plans for this now, after we have done the communication to you, we want to take you through a training that will assist you in transitioning. We also have to prepare you financially. This was the package that we are giving you as you're transitioning. And then also we have to prepare you for the next kind of role. How do we support you in packaging yourself as a professional so that you're able to be able to sell, able to apply for other positions. So an organization that plans for this kind of process is able now to even give that's another form of goodwill to the exiting employee, because they now understand, because the employee is not just leaving the employer to the world, but he has already also prepared them for the next kind of challenge or the next kind of opportunity that they're looking forward to.
Now, I would want to know the place of innovation in diversification for businesses as they try to mitigate the effects of high cost of living and still carry out redundancies. What is the place of innovation in this whole saga?
The place of innovation in the whole this part is just first of all, we have different forms of ensuring that you're able to contain the situation or the high cost of living, yes, or the cost of doing business. There are certain operational costs that a business will have, for example, office space, internet. For you to be able to try and mitigate redundancy, are you able to consider innovation around hybrid working? That can also be an alternative in terms of innovation, because currently we're living in an era where we are having virtual meetings, something that never used to happen before. So if productivity of your team is not affected by them being physically present in the office, then how about you try and invent situations where they work remotely. This gives you an opportunity to be able to cut on expenses like office space rent. You look at internet, the Wi-Fi that you pay for the office. So it gives an opportunity also now to also reduce the expenses. Then now you're able now to focus on other things.
As we wind up, let's talk about fairness, because some employees may feel targeted because it's a position that is on the line. How can companies manage these redundancies, because it can be a challenge to them, but on the other hand, it is also a challenge and impacts differently when it comes to the employee. How can companies, as we wind up, ensure fairness in this whole process?
Okay, so to ensure fairness, first of all, again, you go back to what is redundancy. So it's when an employer cannot offer you employment for due circumstances that are totally not related to either performance or behavior. So definitely, when it comes now to performance, you might be the outstanding performer in the organization, but your role is affected. So to ensure there's clarity on that, we have to also give them the opportunity, the employee an opportunity also to be able to express themselves and also give what steps the organization are taking to ensure that they are dealt with. So if it's about a role, you have to make it clear to them that it's this role that is affected. You as an employee, as an individual, you have no issues with it. There is no performance issue. There is no behavioral issue.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Bwana Arnold Ochieng, for coming to the show and talking about this topic.
Thank you very much, Mike.
We have been speaking to Arnold Ochieng, who is the General Manager of the Workforce Africa. This is where Good Morning Kenya puts a wrap on the show. I have been your host, Mike Megwe. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.